Hi, I'm Deborah Bernard of Joyfully Living Wellness. Welcome. Thank you for joining me again this week. This week we're going to talk about when to listen to those voices, those inner voices that are uncomfortable, and when to chase them away because they have no business living in this house. More recently, I talked about the first three steps of the healing process. Step one being awareness, what you're aware of. Step two being discernment, which was basically a process of getting to that place of discomfort inside, the place that is just telling you that what you know to be true on the inside is feeling uncomfortable about something that's happening on the outside, right? That's that place of discomfort where we feel like things just aren't quite right, and that can bring up all kinds of stuff. And the third step of that was acceptance, accepting that this is a part of the human journey and that this is something that gives you information about what's happening in your journey. Specifically, that place of discomfort inside is telling you that there's something that you know to be true on the inside that is recognizing that something on the outside isn't right. Okay, that's where that discomfort comes from. That's where those uncomfortable emotions come from. And a lot of times when we feel that discomfort, our first reaction is to rebound out into some defense mechanism or coping strategy. When we can allow ourselves to be present with those places of discomfort and not rebound out into the defense mechanism or the coping strategy, such as reaching for food and eating everything but the kitchen sink so we don't have to be uncomfortable with what we're feeling. These are when we can listen to those voices and be present with them, not necessarily to the voices, but to feel the feelings. When we hear the voices and we can allow ourselves to be present with what we're truly feeling inside, this can be revealing and tell us the truth about what we're really needing inside, what our beings are really yearning for. And that leads us to know the place of inner truth. It leads us to know more about the truth of who we are. This is when it is healthy to listen to these voices and to be with these places of discomfort. But sometimes the voices are not serving you in any way. Sometimes the voices are saying, look, you're just a loser. You're never going to make it, right? These are the voices of judgment, self-judgment, or maybe there's somebody else's voice that we've heard at a time in our lives that's playing in our own minds. These are not serving you. These are the ones, if you saw the video that I did on when to give or not to give, or when to say no, where we talked about peeling that layer of judgment off, the layer of self-judgment, the layer of judgments from others that stick around in our psyche and play in our head. We want to peel those off and set them aside. When these voices come in and say, look, why are you even trying? Because you know you're not going to be able to stick to it. You know you're not going to be able to have the things you want in your life. You know you're not going to be able to be successful. You know you're never going to be able to lose the weight. You know, blah, 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 right? These voices that there's no way those voices are serving you. These are the voices you do not want to listen to. You want to chase them out of town. There's also those voices that say, if you have just a little bit, and I'm saying this for people who are really trying to get their eating habits and weight under control, or alcohol consumption and things of that nature, those voices that come in and say, well, you can have just a little bit. A little bit's not going to hurt you, right? If you're someone that knows that you really can't have just a little bit without going into a full-on binge, those are the voices you want to run out of town. Okay, it's the voices that are that are actually leading you to understand how you're feeling inside, and excuse me, not the voices of judgment, not the voices of temptation, but the voices that say, ouch, this hurts, and I don't like being uncomfortable. I don't like the feeling when things hurt. It's two different kinds of voices. The voices of judgment and temptation, you want to run out of town. The voice that says, hey, there's something that's not right here. And those are the voices that you actually want to listen to, because on the other side of the not right is the part of you that knows what is right. That's your inner truth. That's your inner wisdom. You want to hear the inner truth and the inner wisdom. In order to hear that, you need to allow that discomfort to be present. Now, this doesn't mean reliving any kind of experience that may have brought you that lesson in your life, or any kind of old experiences that you've gone through that have brought you discomfort. You don't have to relive anything. Just allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Be okay with your emotions. Be okay with the discomfort long enough to hear the inner truth. You want to know your inner truth. This is the truth that sets you free. When you know it and you're conscious of it and you can live it in your life, live a life aligned with it according to your inner truth, this is what brings you healing. This is what sets you free. The voices of judgment, whether they're from yourself, your own mind, or from, someone else coming in, or memories of someone else that are playing in your field, you don't want to listen to those. Chase them out of town. If they're voices that are of temptation, saying, oh, come on, this won't hurt. You can do just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. If you're someone who can do just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and get away with it, a lot of people can, then that's one thing. But if you're someone who can't, and you know who you are, if it's really not serving you, and you're going to end up back in a pattern that you've been trying to change, then run those voices out of town. Now, what's a way to run them out of town? To run these voices out of town, one of the things that I like to think of for myself is, now, my teachings are of a spiritual nature. I do believe that we are spiritual beings on a human journey in this earth to learn teachings for our souls. I believe as spiritual beings, these beings of divine light and unconditional love and beauty and compassion and truth, these qualities were breathed into our physical form to give us life. Give life to these physical forms as we move on these journeys through this material plane to get our life teachings, our soul teachings. The truth of who we are is this high vibration of light and love and compassion and truth and beauty. This is the truth of who we are. So, as a being of light, you are a being to be honored, to be respected. And it starts with you honoring and respecting this being of light yourself. Regardless of what's happening around you, what other people think, you've got to understand, you've got to know that you are a being of love, light, beauty, truth, mercy, compassion. This is the truth of who you are. It's not about you, but it is very much for you. This is what was breathed into your physical form to give you life. It's just a fact. You don't have to do anything to deserve it. You don't have to do anything to make it so. You just have to get out of your own way and recognize what it is and allow it to be. So the first thing is for you to honor it in yourself. When you honor this in yourself, there is no place for those voices of judgment that say anything else. So one thing I will do when I hear those voices coming in, those judgments coming in, is I'll say, no, I am honoring the truth of this vessel. I am honoring the truth of my divine spirit. This is love. This is light. This is truth. This is mercy. This is compassion. And there is no room for anything else inside this body, this energetic body, this physical body, this mental body, this emotional body. You're not welcome here. There's no place for you. So out. A friend of mine a long time ago gave me, a friend that I worked with, gave me this thing called a can of whoop ass. Excuse my language there. But if you've heard, I'm from Texas, okay? We talk like that sometimes. But he gave me this can one time, and he put it on my desk. He said, I have a feeling that you need this sometimes. And so I think of that when I think of these voices coming in. Sometimes you got to open that can of, whoop ass and run them out of town. They have no place here. This is a home, a vessel of love, light, compassion, truth, beauty, and nothing else is welcome. I invite you to think about that when those voices come in for yourself. Grab that can of whoop ass, open it up, run them right out of town. Honor your vessel as a vessel of love, light, compassion, truth, forgiveness, freedom, beauty. It is the truth of who you are. This is Deborah Granard of Joyfully Living Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. Live and love joyfully. If you have any questions or want to connect, please see me at joyfullylivingwellness.com. That's joyfullylivingwellness.com and Deborah Granard. Thank you.